Hey, Death Metal Promotion YouTube. This is Ron from Blasphemous, and we're based out of Philadelphia. Been a band since 2003. The only original member remaining of the band, but ever since 2016, we've had a fairly consistent lineup. Done a couple albums and a EP during that time from 2016 to now, and I have to say it's probably the most consistent lineup that we've had. And the most musically solid lineup that we had doing our blend of black and death metal. As far as the story behind the name Blasphemous, really not much of a story. Just something me and our old drummer came up with, and when we were initially forming the band, and just something that's short and to the point. We don't want like a multi like letter multi-word name, just keep it simple and to the point. We're not reinventing the wheel with this band, and we definitely didn't reinvent the wheel with the name. So for the creative process behind To Lay Siege and Conquer, we have to go all the way back to 2019, 2020. We did the last full length, Emerging Through Fire, and started working on it not long after the album came out. So a lot of these ideas we've been sitting on for quite some time. We had COVID come about. We changed bass players, but for the most part, our guitar players, Hal and Steve, trade ideas back and forth, and I throw in lyrics and everything. So it's a very easy process. I mean, we live not far from each other, and we do rehearse regularly. But when there's times when we couldn't get together, especially during COVID, writing online was the way to go. And as far as themes for the album, that goes a little back and forth between me and Hal. He's very big into like Warhammer and stuff like that, so you'll see that come up in like the song Neverborn. I tend to write from a very dark place, and which is how you get songs like Martyr Complex, Spiritual Enslavement, To Lay Siege and Conquer. Like lyrically, it's all very dark and very rebellious towards religion in general. The cover art was done by Misanthropic Art, Chris Kiesling. He did our last EP, Eternal Misanthropy, and it felt natural to work with him again for the artwork for To Lay Siege and Conquer, because we present him the concept of the song, and from there he let him run the ball with it, gave him pretty much total leeway with what he wanted to do, and what he came up with was fantastic. So we're excited about it. Working with Adirondack Black Mass has been very easy. We had a good connection, good rapport, and very straightforward to the point. So we're not asking the world as a band. We're not rock stars. We don't do this for a living, and vice versa. You don't do the label for a living. We all have day jobs, so it's just something that we felt natural with, a good connection, and just so far so good. We may be doing a cassette release in the future, so hopefully we'll keep posted about that. Is securing a label essential? To a point, but you also have to make sure you have some good PR behind you and everything. So make sure you have a good push behind your music. I mean, like we had a release that kind of went stagnant because we didn't really push it PR wise, and so that definitely gives you some boost there. So the label, not so much, but you definitely need some good PR behind it. For me, getting into death metal happened like very early 90s. I started listening to like a lot of, like, I was a child of the 80s, so I grew up listening to glam, and then it evolved into thrash, and then wanted to dig a little deeper, beyond your big four thrash bands, and kind of discovered death metal and Obituary and Deicide and Morbid Angel and bands like that, and just kind of grew from there. Just the darkness and the heaviness of the music just drew me. If I could change anything about the music industry, it's very much the click mentality. It's all about who you know sometimes, and it's a bunch of BS. It's like feel like you got to give a hand job to somebody to get noticed in this world, or do something super controversial to get some press. It's kind of ridiculous. Any fails during live performances? There's one I remember we did probably back in 2011, 2012. We were playing some little dive bar in South Philly. Um, I tripped over our guitar player's chords because there wasn't really a stage. It was right on the floor. Knocked chords out and kind of fucked everything up from there. So that was definitely a big fail on my part. As far as recent albums that have impressed me, Gutless, High Impact Violence was definitely probably my record of 2024. Um, Undeath, More Insane. Um, there's a, and I just heard the new Pissgrave single that's going to be coming out on their new album in a couple months, so that's definitely got my attention very much. So definitely look for those bands. What are my thoughts on the future of death metal? I mean, I think it's in a good place. I mean, there's been great bands that have come out like in the past few years that have like gone to great things. I mean, we personally, I've booked Frozen Soul and 200 Stab Wounds and Undeath and Sanguisugabog and Vomit Forth, and like in their first tours, and they've gone off big time. So I think the future is gonna be very well for death metal. So see a lot of younger kids getting into it. So it's pretty awesome. How would I describe the local death metal scene in Philadelphia? Pretty strong. We got a good community. I mean, between Philadelphia and New Jersey, we're kind of close to each other. So a lot of great bands out there. Some of the old school that are still around, like Moral Decay, Supremia, Cognitive, and we got newer bands like Bloodsport that have been around for few years now, Bone Weapon, Bastard Cross, so Weeping from New Jersey. They're more up north, but the futures for the local scene is very good. So I mean, I'm very happy to see bands thriving and hitting the road and having a good old time. My favorite all-time death metal album. Kind of go back and forth on this, but hands down, I would have to say Deicide's Legion. Just the heaviness and raw energy that they had on their early albums just really captured me especially when I was younger. So that album definitely sticks with me. Also, Morbid Angel's Covenant. It's like both of those albums, you really can't go wrong as far as like all-time favorite death metal album. All-time favorite death metal album cover has got to be Butcher at Birth by Cannibal Corpse. That is such a brutal album cover. Um, Great artwork. You cannot go wrong with that, and obviously it's a classic album. Not my favorite album of all time, but it's definitely up there. So can't go wrong with the classics. The classics never die. As far as future plans for Blasphemous, we're going to be doing some like a couple tour runs later this year. Not major ones, just like weekends and maybe a week run at the most. We all have work and everything and lives that get in the way, so we can't be on the road all year, unfortunately. But we're gonna be out there a little bit. We have like new material in the works already, so hopefully we'll maybe do it EP next year just to kind of tide everything over until we do another full length and on from there. I mean, I'm getting older, obviously, but I'm not letting up anytime soon, as far as I can tell. So um, we're definitely going to be going on for a while. Um, so at least you'll see a 25th Blasphemous anniversary at some point. Thank you, Death Metal Promotion. Thank you, all the viewers. Be sure to check us out if we come to your town. We'll definitely let you know. We're going to be going up to Buffalo. We're going up to Massachusetts later this year. Probably New York. We're going to do New York as well. West, like central, maybe Western PA at some point. Keep an eye out. Thank you for watching. Keep watching the Death Metal Promotion channel, and we'll see you soon.